I'm Evan.
And I'm Zach, and you guys are watching EZ Conversations.
Today we're going to be discussing the impact of piracy on the music industry and how this affects music artists.
Now, I guess some background on piracy, it's basically illegally downloading songs off the internet.
That's right, Zach. Nearly 100 million people a day use BitTorrents, which are free websites set up by people, and they're actually able to make money through advertisements, and this is a big problem for the music industry.
Yeah, it's clearly on the rise and has definitely put pressure on that music industry to adapt. So we told you guys what our topic was going to be this week, and we asked you guys to send in questions, and we're going to let those questions kind of guide our discussion this week. Our first question is from Sally in Colorado. She asks, why has the music industry been forced to adapt? Shouldn't the police just punish people who illegally download videos?
Well, Sally, there's just too many people downloading music illegally, and it would make it nearly impossible for the police to track down and punish these people.
Yeah, so I guess their original plan of action was to single out individual people and make a big deal out of it to discourage other people from illegally downloading. So they give these individuals massive fines of hundreds of thousands of dollars. These cases would always result in long and lengthy court battles that costed time and resources and wasn't really effective in discouraging the public from piracy.
That's right, Zach. So they've moved to working with internet providers to contact these people who are illegally downloading music, and they are warned, and the second time they are cut off from the internet. And the problem with this is that internet companies are losing money every time they shut off someone's internet, so this has become a great big dilemma in the piracy conflict.
Yeah, so to answer your question specifically, Sally, I guess, if these punishment methods aren't working, it really lies on the music industry to adapt rather than wait for something to finally work.
Our next question comes from Chuck in Arkansas, and he asks, how much can an artist lose from piracy?
Well, Chuck, it's been estimated that at least 10% of royalties are lost to piracy every year. So for an up-and-coming artist especially, losing 10% of their yearly income, that's a big deal. These guys are struggling to get along and do what they love for a living, and you're making $40,000 a year and you're losing $4,000 of it. That's a lot of money. And even on a grander scale, for famous artists who are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, they're losing tens of millions of dollars a year. And that's a big deal, and these people work hard for the money they earn. So, hope that answers your question, Chuck. Our next question comes from Alan in Oregon. He asks, does piracy affect an established artist more than an up-and-coming one?
Well, Alan, to answer your question, these pirated sites revolve around advertisements and revenue made from that. So we know for sure that they're going to contain popular music artists, as they know it will draw a crowd to their sites. But they also have music from up-and-coming artists, just in case any of these songs do become popular. And therefore, both upcoming artists and popular artists are going to have their music available to be illegally downloaded, and leave the same potential for their music to be pirated.
Thanks for your question, Alan. Our next question is from Chad in Oklahoma, and he asks, are we sponsored by Mountain Dew, or do we just like it?
Well, Chad, to be honest with you, we just like the taste of Mountain Dew. Keeps our brain turning, and the answer's coming.
We are in no way sponsored by Mountain Dew. Thanks for the question, Chad.
Our next question comes from Ashley in New York, and her question is, how has the music industry adapted?
Well, Ashley, I guess it started with YouTube, and music videos of popular artists were getting posted on YouTube, and a lot of the community was watching these videos to listen to the songs at the cost of having to watch an advertisement instead of paying $1 to download songs individually on iTunes. And programs like Pandora and Spotify noticed this and created a structure where you could stream an endless amount of music on your phone at the cost of intermittent advertisements instead of individually downloading songs. And this structure shows that there are successful ways to make money off of music online rather than just downloads.
And actually, just to give you an idea of how successful these programs have been, Spotify has over 60 million subscribers, and of those, 25 million are paid. On top of that, Google has offered to purchase Spotify for $4.2 billion in hopes of modeling their YouTube Music after Spotify. And YouTube Music is planning on doing the same thing in regards to music streaming. Instead of making money through music downloads, they plan on making money through advertisements and views.
So I guess this shows that the music industry really is transitioning away from these downloading sites and towards these streaming sites that you get money off advertisements instead. And we're really seeing, especially with that Google purchase, that these sites hold a lot of value and are really getting use. So, hope that answers your question, Ashley.
Our next question comes from Chris in Nevada, and he asks, how do these new ways of legally listening to music impact the music artists?
Well, Chris, I guess the way artists were making music on iTunes per download was just so much more money than they are making per listen on Spotify and YouTube. So to put it in perspective, we have some numbers for you. A single track download on iTunes, which costs $1, would bring in 69 cents per download for an unsigned artist, or 23 cents per download for a signed artist. And then for Spotify, each listen to a song, an unsigned artist receives 0.7 cents, which means that they would have to have their music listened to 180,000 times to meet the monthly minimum wage requirement. And then for signed artists, they only get 0.11 cents per listen and would need 1,117,000 listens in 1 month to meet the monthly minimum wage. And then for YouTube, that number goes even lower, with it being 0.18 cents per view for unsigned artists, needing 700,000 views per month. And then signed artists get 0.03 cents, needing 4.2 million views per month to meet the monthly minimum wage.
And just looking at that number for a signed artist on iTunes, most of us have purchased a song off iTunes. A signed artist will make 23 cents off each music purchase download they receive. And just to put that into perspective for you guys, on YouTube it would require someone 766 listens or views for them to make the same 23 cents that they would through iTunes. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't really have any songs on my iPod that I would listen to 766 times.
Yeah, so I guess even though one download is definitely, more than one listen, nobody buys a song and listens to it one time. I don't know if it definitely is getting higher with needing 766 listens. That seems like, a decreasing trend for artists, and that these new programs are ultimately hurting the artists because it's harder to make that money. Intermittent advertisements.
Intermittents.
Yeah, like you're wearing mittens.
Intermittents. Intermittents. Intermittents.